All right, what's up guys? Alex Comstock here with Whitetail DNA, and on today's video we're going to talk how to hunt the pre-rut. So we're going to talk all things pre-rut hunting, but before we jump into today's video I want to ask a couple things. First, hit that like and subscribe below. We really appreciate everyone's support here on the channel as we're pushing out content all throughout the year. But I'd also love for you to check out our merch. So I've got the link in the description. We've got a whole new merch line. We've got shirts, hats, sweatshirts, you name it, crew necks. We've got embroidered options. We've got screen printed options. And really appreciate everyone checking that out. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about onX. So as we go throughout the whole rut, pre-rut hunting, like this video, onX is a really important tool that we like to use. Now onX has a whole new weather integrated system that they use localized places to actually get the local information from, and they use deer predicting. So they've got, like if you go into their app, you look at it, it'll show, if you click on a pin, it'll show that area's forecast. It'll show, the barometric pressure, the sunrise, the moon, and then it'll have a percent chance of deer movement. And it's really cool, and it's just something new that onX has integrated in their app, and it's something I really highly check out. So got a link in the description to onX as well. And with that, let's talk about the pre-rut. All right, so when it comes to the pre-rut, it's I think the best time of year to kill a buck that you're after before we get into the full rut. So if this is going to be going live before October 22nd this year, but if you're watching this video after October 22nd, head over to our podcast as well, because we just did a whole breakdown with Jeff Sturgis about this. But essentially, there's a few things that I want to talk about from my perspective. And the first thing is the pre-rut is that time frame when bucks are getting, to that point where they're trying to check out those first few does, right? They're trying to get nosy. The rut's not fully here yet, but the days are getting shorter, it's getting a little cooler, and we're getting really close to when those does are coming into estrus in November. And your local bucks are going to be on their feet just a little bit more. And so what I mean by that is if you're going out there like during the rut and you're just hoping to catch a cruiser from a mile away, that pre-rut time frame is not when to actually have that happen, but it's when those bucks, if you're after a specific buck, let's say you've got a buck targeted, you've been hunting them all year, and he's just not showing up in daylight. Well, a pre-rut is a really good time to strike, because he's just going to be, there's a good chance he's going to get out of bed just a little bit earlier. There's a good chance he's going to be staying on his feet a little bit later in the morning looking for those does. So I would consider the pre-rut to be like that October, 20, 21, 22 till about Halloween. And we've had some really good pre-rut hunts over the years. Team member Jeremy Lopez killed a buck on Halloween in 2019 and 2023. Caleb killed a buck on Halloween as well in 19 or 20. You guys might have killed in the same year. But so that time frame is just really good, and something that I really want to emphasize to you. So a few other tactics that I want to talk about when it comes to hunting the pre-rut specifically. This is when scrapes are going to be the most active, in my opinion, in daylight. So as we are in the late September, early October time frame into mid-October, scrapes are being opened up, but not often, I don't believe, are they really being hit in daylight. Whereas this time frame is your best chance, I think, to catch a buck on a scrape in daylight. And then another tactic that I want to talk about is utilizing water sources. If you've got water on your property, I do think bucks, we're going to be using water in daylight at this time of year. And then I also want to talk about food sources. So if you're going to be hunting food sources, sometimes those bucks just aren't making it to those food sources in daylight. But this time frame of the year, especially if you have like that food plot that's off from a destination source, or food plots in the timber, is when these bucks are going to be hitting that food sources in the evening, looking for those first few does that are in estrus. So those things are some really important things that I wanted to hit on, as well as hunting mornings. A lot of people don't like hunting mornings until the pre-rut, and like I said earlier, this is that time frame when bucks are going to be staying on their feet just a little bit longer, and hunting mornings can be really worth it, even if you're only sitting until that 9, 10 a.m. time frame. All right, and there's three more things that I really want to hit on when it comes to the pre-rut time frame. The first one is bedding areas. If you've got an idea of where a buck is bedding, now can be a good time to get in tight, because when you get into the rut, like in November, that buck could be gone. He could be looking for does, way down wherever. But this time frame, he'd still be in his home core area. So if hey, I'm pretty sure this buck that I'm after is bedding in this chunk of timber, or on this ridge, or whatever the case is, this could be that time to slip in, push the limits a little bit, get tight, because this might be that window of time to kill them. Another thing that I want to talk about is weather. I think weather is still really important in the pre-rut. Honestly, it is throughout the year, but the pre-rut especially, you want to target those good weather days, those good cold fronts. And if you are still getting some warmer weather, this is a time of year when, honestly, those cold fronts might just happen in the mornings. And so it might stay, we had a day last week where it was, like 33 degrees, but the high was, 65. And so if you can just target those mornings where it's going to stay cool, honestly, I like hunting those mornings because if you got to be selective on when you can hunt, you may not be able to hunt all day or hunt the afternoons, or you can only hunt just specific times and you have to pick when. I'd venture to pick those mornings because it's going to be colder and I think it can be a better time to strike. Lastly, even though the pre-rut is a great time to hunt and a great time to kill that target buck, don't outdo yourself now to the point where you're not, you're already like hunted out come the actual rut. And there's a lot of people that have talked about this. I've talked with Don Higgins in the past. He's talked about how so many people get so gung-ho about the rut where that they hunt all day, every day, like the 25th through the 31st. They don't see anything or they don't have that encounter with that buck they want to. And then as we get into November, they're like hunted out already. So try to avoid that. Be selective, hunt those right weather days, target, a local buck if needed, and if you're waiting on just like things to go crazy and you don't have any bucks to go after, if you're in AKA my situation, the rut is going to be the better time to hunt. But I still wanted to jump on here and talk about the pre-rut a little bit. So I really do appreciate you watching. Like I said earlier, if you do hit that like and subscribe below, we appreciate it, and we'll see you here on the next video.